Back a few years ago, when I was getting the heavy voice to skull, um, synthetic telepathy, whatever you call it, I I must have been at some place where it was really bad, and I heard my friend's voice in my head, a friend of mine, and I don't know what to think about that. That because it was a helpful, potentially helpful thing that they said. Um, well, that's trippy. Um, just using the backdrop thing here for photo booth, but uh, so I hear his voice, a friend of mine's voice, and I hear it, and I'm looking for ways. I think I was probably thinking like, how can I like, well, not to him, like I wasn't expecting to hear him. I don't think, because you know that you get into, probably celebrities or whatever that you think that they make it seem like you're talking to you in your head or through the TV or however they are trying to make you perceive it at the time. Anyways, he said, just tell them you don't have $5, and he's like, tell them you don't have $5, and the way he said it, the way that I could tell it was or thought it was meant to be phrased to them. This is for people who, if you get V2k and you still are talking to them or thinking at them or whatever the hell is going on there. The synthetic telepathic conversations, talking to an AI bot, or if it's chatbot, or if it's a real sitting there at the computer in shifts with the microphone just through the fucking Dr. Seuss device that aims thoughts into your brain, or microwaves into your brain, however the fuck it works. Excuse my cussing. So, uh, so I thought about that, and I tried it. Thinking not out loud. Um, I don't have $5 for you, and maybe this was at a point where I was so far gone into gang stalking world that for all I know, this was like a total delusion. Maybe I didn't even get a V2k voice of that. Maybe that was purely from within a real stress-induced voice of unconscious knowledge. Uh, so the idea of it, I understand it, is that it's basically like reframing the your position versus the V2k perps. So by thinking, I don't have $5 for you. Sorry, I don't have $5 for you. It's like they become, uh, they become like petty little beggars in your view of them. Like it just reframes the whole situation. It's not like it's the difference between I don't have $5 for you and I don't know what's something you'd think at it's the normal. Oh, please don't do this. Fuck off. I can't take it anymore. Whatever the fuck. I don't know what other people think at them, uh, but just the idea. And then there's I've never really thought about it very much until today. It just popped in my head randomly, but I'm sure that there's all sorts of other little phrases or questions, or not for questions, but or things you could say, non sequiturs that you could spit at them. You could have a list starting with, I don't have $5 for you. Because I remember when I tried it, it did totally shift the context, the oh, I had the word. What is the fucking word? It was on the tip of my tongue. It shifts. It changes. Anyways, it changes the dynamic of the situation. So that's one possible useful V2k trick. Um, uh, I'm trying to think. When I decided to make this video, I was like, I gotta have more than one trick. And I thought of like one or two other things that might fit that description. One would be the story that I've already told that I got out of Dr. John Hall's book, his first book, where he talked about, if you visualize Godzilla running through your backyard, like if they can see through your eyes with the R&M remote neural monitoring. If you believe in that part of it, if you get that part of it, if you're familiar with that part of it, that they'll see it. They'll see what you visualize out in the world, like if you imagine it. And so I've told the story of had some lady, her voice, and I imagined in her voice, the voice coming from where it was made to sound like it was coming from, saying, we're in the CIA, and we got you now, or something like that. And then I heard this other voice come on, and it was like reprimanding her. And so I don't remember hearing her voice much after that. And then let's see, another possible thing you might be able to apply. V2k tricks. One thing I heard on a talk show call the other night that I like the idea of. I'm not sure why I just at the time I was like, that sounds like a plausible, like it could help. Was listening to a bunch of different kinds of music. Like I've heard people say since the beginning, well, you could just learn a new language and then start thinking in that language, and it'd be good on multiple levels. From just creating the new neurological connections, and hopefully they don't know that language, like French or Spanish. Who knows? I don't know. Learning the language, or the simple version, just listening to a bunch of music, totally different styles of music. Which, if that has any good effect, would be good for me, because I got pretty different kind of music I listen to are different than each other. I listen to like reggae, rap, and metal, and those are pretty different. And then I'll listen to like some Johnny Cash and shit like that. But they're wildly different types of music. Metal to reggae. Anyways, I feel like there was one more I'm forgetting that I wanted to talk about. And since I can't think of it right now, I'll just go back to talking about the $5 thing. So I posted a question in my Facebook group. If you want to join, by the way, and you're not already a member, the group is called Electronic Harassment and Gang Stalking is the name of the group, and you'll find it. It'll have a picture that says the use of technology to stalk. If you're on Facebook, you can join my group. I've got like 2,473 members right now, which is like it took like 2 years or so. I don't know how long I've had it. It took a long time to get to 1,000 members, and then in like a few months it became 2,000 members, which is amazing. I don't know what to think about that, but I guess it's good that more TIs know that what's happening instead of just assuming they're insane. So the $5 thing, I posted a question in the group, or not a question. I posted I said I'd like to ask TIs in this group who get V2k who still talk or think back to them conversationally in any way to try something. Tell your V2k group I don't have $5 for you, and report back any results. And so far nobody's responded. I am curious what. So somebody posted. They asked why. What's the point of this or something? And I messaged them telling them my thoughts on it, and then deleted their comment because I don't want to tamper with the results of the experiment by explaining it in advance, or I want it to be a clean experiment. But I told him, the impression was that it as I said, it completely reframed the situation to the TI's benefit. Saying you don't have $5 for them makes them these petty little beggars nagging at you, and it raises you up in the dynamics of the situation there. I've now reached the end of that and don't know what I can't remember what I still can't remember what the other tip or trick was, but I guess please in the comments, if you have any of your own, please remind you of things that you've done that have had any success at all whatsoever. Go ahead and post them in the comments to help TIs, because that's what my videos on about gang stalking are there for. Yeah. Okay, I remembered what the last thing I wanted to say was, something I've said, I'm sure, before, and I'm sure a lot of other, if you've been a TI for any length of time, you've probably come across it as a concept. If you get the V2k, and that's just don't talk back to them. Aside, if you still talk to them, definitely try the $5 thing. If they're ever bothering you, might want to try it. But other than that sort of thing, don't talk to these fuckers ever, because it's like what I said in the last video. It's just they win when you focus on them. The end.